Hello, friends. Welcome to today's football predictions on Betkraft. Okay, today is another beautiful Wednesday morning, and once again, we come again with our predictions for you on Betkraft. We know yesterday we had most of the games are quite successful except for one. Actually, the Belgian games, Anderlecht and Genk, they live up to expectation, but nevertheless, we still move on today. And today, so many games going across the globe, and we have selected some of them, mostly UEFA Champions League matches going on today. And in a short while, we'll be looking at these matches one after the other, and we'll be making our verdicts based on recent games that these teams have played. We'll look at it and then come up with a verdict in each of the matches. All right, I want to ask those of us who are coming across our video for the first time that are yet to subscribe, to kindly take our time to hit the subscribe button right now so that you don't miss out on our subsequent games that will always come up on this very channel on a daily basis. All right, hope you have done that. Okay, let's head to the business of today, and today we'll be starting with the UEFA Champions League match between Sparta Prague and Red Bull Salzburg. Okay, Sparta Prague in the past 6 or 7 games have won 5 out of those 6, but have had 1 draw and away side. And then Salzburg have managed to achieve 3 victories in the past 6 games, and have had 2 draws as well as 1 loss. In the past 6 recent encounters. When you look at how these two teams have performed from home and away perspective, looking it down, you could see that Sparta Prague have actually been able to manage to achieve 7 victories in the past 10 home games. They have also had 3 draws, but have not lost any single match in the past 10 home games that they have so far. That tells you how good these two is. And we saw them in the last 2 match, where they played out the 2-0 victory against Malmo. And looking at the away side on the other hand too, you can see that Salzburg, Red Bull Salzburg, have actually been able to manage to achieve 6 victories from away. They've actually had 3 losses and 1 draw in the past 10 away games that they had so far. Quite a very strong side too, seeing that they've won 60% of their away games, and also when you look closely, actually, most of their away games for Salzburg have actually produced lots of goals. The last away game they played saw them losing out to Rapid Vienna by 3-2, but majority of the games played for their away side have actually seen over 2.5 on 7 occasions out of past 10 away games that they played. And the home side have actually experienced over 2.5 and above on 6 occasions out of the past 10 home games. But in this very encounter, it is difficult to separate the two. Also noting that the last time they met, we saw them play out a 2-2 draw on that occasion. Salzburg played from home, and in this very one, we will expect to see as many goals as that. Also, we'll expect to see a minimum of 3 goals appearing in this very encounter. It is an over 2.5. That's our chosen verdict for that very encounter. Okay, all right, that takes us to the next game for today. Also, in UEFA Champions League, where we'll have Bologna coming up against Shakhtar Donetsk. And Bologna, when you look at Bologna in the last recent 6 encounters, they've actually lost only 1 game, but have had 5 draws. They've not won any single match in the last 6 games. And away side, on the other hand, Shakhtar Donetsk have won 3, and have had 2 losses as well as 1 draw in the past 6 recent games for their away side. All right, looking at how these two teams have performed from one away perspective, you can see that Bologna, the Italian side, have actually been able to manage 3 victories in the past 10 home games. They've had one loss, but they've had a loss of draw. 6 draws. As a matter of fact, the last 3 home games that they played out so far, saw them playing out draw in all 3. And when you look out at the percentages, you could see that it is a 60% draw. But quite noticeable is the fact that it has always been both sides scoring. Goal scoring draws. Appearing in most of the matches for Bologna. And Shakhtar Donetsk, on the other hand, their away side have actually been able to manage to achieve 5 victories from away. They've also had 3 losses, but as well as 2 draws in the past 10 away games. So in this very encounter, it's quite difficult to separate the two, but we will expect to see, a minimum of 2 goals. Noting that Bologna have always scored and the opponents have always scored in most of their matches. And the Shakhtar Donetsk is a team that scored, and we saw them playing out, losing out in a 4-3 victory in the last week where they played out 4-3 victory, 4-3 loss against Alexandra. That's the last away game that they played. But in this very encounter, we'll expect to see a minimum of 2 goals appearing in this very Champions League match. Over 1.5. That's our verdict for this very encounter, and that takes us to the next, and it is also UEFA Champions League match where we'll have Manchester City who will be up against Inter Milan. All right, Manchester City, as we know, a very strong team. Have actually won 5 games in the past 6 recent games. They've had 1 draw. And Inter Milan, on the other hand, have had 2 wins as well as 3 draws, but 1 loss in the past 6 recent encounters. When you look at how these 2 teams are fared from home and away perspective, you can see that play from home, Man City have been able to achieve 6 victories and have lost 3, and have also had 1 draw in the past 10 home games that they played out so far. And we see them in the past 2 home games. I've always seen them achieving victory, winning against Brentford and as well as against Ipswich Town. All right, and that tells you that 60% of the home matches for the home side, Manchester City, have actually experienced victory on 6 times. 60% of time out of 100%. Okay, and looking at Inter have actually won 3 games in the past 10 away games, but they've had 2 losses as well as 5 draws. Most of the games for the Inter from away have always resulted in a draw. The last 5 away games I played have actually seen a plain out draw on all 5 away games, and that tells you a huge a lot of info about this team. And the last time they met was last year June in the UEFA Champions League. We saw Manchester City defeating this side on that occasion by 1-0, playing from home. But in this very game, definitely expect to see a lot of goals appearing in this one. So we also go for an over 2.5 in this very encounter, a minimum of 3 goals appearing in this very encounter. That's our verdict. All right, and that will take us to the next for today, and it is actually also in Champions League where we have Paris SaintGermain who will be up against Girona. All right, Paris SaintGermain have won 4 games and they've had 2 draws in the last 6 recent encounters. But Girona, on the other hand, have won 2. They have actually lost 3 and 1 draw in the past 6 recent games. And when you look at how these 2 teams performed from home and away perspective, you can see that Paris SaintGermain, the home side, have actually won 5 games from home. They've actually had 3 losses as well as 2 draws in the last 10 home games that they had, and that tells you that 50% of the home matches have resulted to win for the home side, Paris Saint-Germain. And the last 2 home games they played, I saw them winning convincingly against Montpellier and at Brest. And Girona, on the other hand, playing from away, have won 3 games. They've actually had 4 draws as well as 3 losses in the last 10 away games that they had so far. All right, that's to say only 30% of their away matches have resulted to a victory for their away side. And when you look at all of this, there's actually no head-to-head record for both sides. This is probably the first time both teams are meeting it themselves. And in this very encounter, we know that judging by the quality of the home side, Paris Saint-Germain, we expect to see home win, seeing the recent result for Paris Saint-Germain in recent time. They've actually been winning their home match, so we expect to see home side taking the victory in this one. Home win, that's our verdict in this very encounter. All right, that takes us to the last game for the day. It is actually in South African Premier League, where we have Stenberg coming up against the Golden Arrows. All right, Stellenbosch have actually won 6 games out of the past 6 success encounters, and away side Golden Arrows have had just 1 victory and have lost 1. But they've also had 4 draws in the last 6 recent games for their away side. And then we look at how these 2 teams performed from one away perspective. You see that Stellenbosch, the home side, have managed to achieve 3 victories from home. They have lost 2 games from home, and those 2 losses came in the match against Mamelodi Sundowns, and they had 1 draw against Amazulu. But the other games that they played out so far have seen them winning on all games. All right, as a matter of fact, the last 4 home games that they played out so far have resulted to a victory for the home side Stellenbosch, including a win against Mamelodi Sundowns. All right, that was earlier this month. And when you look at Golden Arrows, their away side have won 2 games in the past 10 away games, but they also had 2 draws as well, and have lost 6 times out of the past 10 away games that they played out so far. So that tells you that not the best side when playing from away, saying that is it only 2 games have actually resorted to victory for the away side. All right, when you look at how these 2 teams fared from head-to-head perspective, you can see that the last time they met saw Stenberg playing from home. That was in May this year, actually winning against Golden Arrows by 3 goals to 0. Okay, in the prior to that, we saw them playing out a 0-0 draw. On that occasion, Stenberg played from away, and also following that was when Stenberg played from home, and they won on that occasion by 5 goals to 2. So it has always been Stenberg who is quite dominant of this very tie, and in this very game, we will expect to see the home side, Stenberg, achieving a victory in this very one. It is the home side to win outrightly. That's our verdict for this very encounter. All right. That brings our predictions for you today on Betkraft to a conclusion. I wish you the very best of luck, and I hope your ticket goes great. Remember also to play responsibly. It's only a football game. Sometimes things can happen and then change the entire course of the game. All right. That being said, tomorrow is another day. We'll be coming up with our predictions on this very channel. All right. I'll urge you to come again tomorrow. But until then, keep winning.